The last 3 years of my life have been the hardest that I've ever experienced. And that's saying something because prior to the last 3 years, my parents and grandmother were killed in a car accident on Christmas Eve. We've lost everything multiple times, had to move my entire family in with my wife's mother at one point in time. Just lost multiple jobs, failed businesses, everything that you can think of. So to say the last 3 years has been the hardest and the most brutal is saying something. But during the last 3 years, there's been a verse that's really stood out to me. And I didn't actually realize until today that I didn't actually understand the verse. You will not fear the terrors of night, or the arrows that fly by day, or the plague that roams in the dark, or the scourge that wreaks havoc at noon. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it won't come near you. So I had always sort of imagined that verse as kind of like the cataclysmic moment where, all of these people, 1,000 people have fallen, right next to you, 10,000, fell at your right hand. And it's like this moment where everybody got wiped out, but you were left standing. But this last 3 years has just felt like this unending battle that it's like every single time I turn around, I feel like I'm just constantly on the back foot, constantly having to get up and fight some new problem, some new thing, some new issue that's come up that is trying to take me out. And in every situation, the Lord has showed up and delivered us, right? Now, there's been a lot of what you might look at and say, well, how is that deliverance? But in comparison, when it comes to your life, right, it's like nobody wants to watch a bunch of people get massacred on a battlefield. Nobody wants to be on a battlefield for that matter. But if you're going to have to be on a battlefield, if a battle is happening and you're there, coming through that situation without taking any actual like real damage to your person, I'd say that's a win. And that's pretty much how it's been. I mean, we've taken a lot of damage just around us, peripherally, but our life itself, for the most part, has been preserved. But I've been in this place where I felt like I'm like, Lord, like, when does it end? Like, how long does this go on for? I'm reading this verse and I'm thinking, great, we had the cataclysmic moment where everything got wiped out and yet we were okay. The stuff that was at arm's length got taken out. Like I watched everything get taken out at arm's length and yet we were still preserved and okay. And it's like, but Lord, like that, how many of those moments have to happen? Like how long does that drag out? Because I'm looking at it through this lens of, this is like a moment in time that occurs. But today I felt like the Lord really opened my eyes to how long it would take for 10,000 men to fall at your right hand in a battle. Because the analogy was given during a time that people didn't have super complex weapons. And so the vast majority of battle where somebody's gonna fall at your right hand, that's gonna happen by way of the sword. And if you know anything about swords and armor, like it's surprisingly difficult to kill somebody with a sword. And so I actually went on ChatGPT and I asked it, I was like, okay, like how long would it take if somebody was in a battle and 10,000 people were to be slain at arm's length? And it says at your right hand, so it's only the people on your right side. It's not the people to your left or even directly in front of you. So it's just the people to your right have fallen and you're there to observe it at arm's length, right? And so how long would it take for 10,000 people to fall at the right hand of someone who's in battle? Now, there's a lot of funky logistics you would have to deal with. Like, are we talking about, is it 3 or 4 at a time, at arm's length being able to be taken out? And it kind of got into all the craziness of how battles work and how usually it's like you have these like mass breakouts where a lot of fighting happens like in that way where you could have 10,000 people fall at your right hand. But really, if you break it down in simple terms, let's just say it takes a minute to 2 minutes to take out one person. And you've got one person at a time falling at your right hand because it's got to be at arm's length. There's only so many people that can fit at your right hand. So at 10,000, the number came out somewhere between like 30 and 90 days. And that's like non-stop, like you're walking all day, every single day, and people are dropping at your right hand all day, every day. It's an astronomical amount of time to be in that intense of a battle. Because you have to bear in mind, like for people to be falling at your right hand, that means you are in the thick of it, like the diciest of the dicey situations in that type of battle. There's no protection. It's open field. It's just you and everybody running around with swords chopping people up. But he says, though 10,000 may fall at your right hand, none of it will touch you. And I started to understand that it's not a moment. It's not a thing that happens like in one cataclysmic moment. It is a walking with the Lord, staying right next to Jesus. And literally, as you walk with him, step by step by step, you are in this just vicious, destructive battle. And sometimes those battles, they go on for a long time. I mean, I honestly never imagined that I would be able to sustain the level of battle that I feel like I've been at for the last year. In fact, I would just say I couldn't sustain it. I couldn't. I literally folded up depressed for like 8 months. And the Lord just he had to pick me up and carry me through it because I just couldn't anymore. But coming out the other side, which I'm not even out the other side of it. I mean, literally like faced another battle today. And once again, another one fell at my right hand, and we so far have remained untouched. And I fully expect that the Lord will continue to show up in that way because he's good. And that's what he's teaching me, is to understand that if I just will walk next to him, that I don't have to worry about, no matter how intense the battle gets. If the battle gets to the level of intensity that 10,000 are falling at arm's length, like, do you understand how close that is? Like how close that battle is to you, to say that 10,000 people, that every day I woke up and I walked out onto the battlefield and I took another step, and every single step people are falling at arm's length, and yet I was not touched for 3 months. Because that's roughly how long it would take for 10,000 to fall at that proximity. For that duration of time, at that level of intensity, nothing touches me. Why? Because Jesus. Because when we walk with him, he protects us. And does that mean that we're never going to have any actual hardship land on us, where we're going to take it in our person, or we're going to take it in our finances or circumstances or whatever? No. When I talk about protection, it doesn't mean that I haven't dealt with a lot of hard things during the course of this last year. We've lost things. There's a lot of things. But the things that really mattered, because that's what the Lord is demonstrating to me right now, all of those things, what I would call our life as a family, that has been protected. And again, it's not because there won't ever be hard things. Like, there's times in my life where my life felt unprotected. And it's because the Lord was teaching me that everything is his. Everything is his. But when you come to the place that you understand that literally everything is his, my wife is his, my kids are his, all the things that I own, they're his, then it allows me to walk through a battle that is so serious that 10,000 people are falling at my right hand, and I am not disturbed by it. Now, I don't want to tell you that I've arrived there, because believe me, today there was a moment where I was not there. But I understand now that it's not only attainable, but I understand the point. It's getting to the place where we trust him so much that we can feel comfortable walking into an environment for the duration of time that would be required for 10,000 to fall at our right hand, and to still feel confident enough in him to just keep walking. Because that's what it's been every day for the last year, the last 2 years, really. That's not even fair. The last 5 years, to be honest. The last year most intensely, though. The last year, it's like the last 5 years has been like, 1,000 fell at my side. The last year, it's been like 10,000 falling at my right hand. But the level of intensity and the ability to just keep walking, because this is the moment where you fear. When you start seeing that many people falling at your right hand, man, that's the moment you start getting uncomfortable, ready to run, ready to hide, ready to exit the battle. And yet, with the Lord, we can have the confidence to just walk right through the battlefield, fearless, because we know that He has us, that He has our life. Anyway, the big takeaway in all this is that God is so faithful that we don't have to fear. We don't have to fear the battle. And for me, I think a big one was just that sometimes that battle just goes on for a lot longer than you think it's going to. But when you understand who He is, you can walk on the battlefield in exactly the same way you would walk through any field, whether there's a battle or not, with absolute certainty that the Lord has you. Shh.